Hey, it's 7 Grains of Salt. Famine is here. Oh, it sure is. After listening to Chuck Baldwin preach from last weekend, I just had to share a mixture of what he has said and as well as my own touch to it, of course. But pride of their hearts brought God's judgment, from Isaiah 9, 8 through 10. Pride and stoutness of the heart. Because of their arrogance, stubbornness, and pride of their hearts, God allowed judgment. God resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble, to an individual or even to a nation. Oh, we see pride. Pride comes before the fall, as they've always said. We see pride in the streets, but don't just think that it's that kind of pride. We see this kind of pride, where pastors are lavished with money. So much money.
The Bible says that I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. I believe that.
Church took in $33.5 million in offerings last year and gave away $3.8 million in outreach. Spent $9 million on personnel and reported $13.9 million in cash assets.
Stephen Furtick. Stephen Furtick is the senior pastor of the Elevation Church in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he has an estimated net worth of $55 million. He lives with his wife in a $1.78 million mansion in Waha, North Carolina. The 8,500 square foot home is built on a 19-acre plot and has 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a garage, and pavilions.
Yeah, I know if you've seen all the older ones, the Kenneth Copelands and the Joel Osteen, how much money they have. So I just thought I'd bring in a little bit of the younger generation, because I think these men, pastors, have taught the younger generation quite well. When you see the Preachers in Sneakers video and pictures of the lavish lifestyle they're living in, who on earth would spend this amount of money on a pair of running shoes? I don't think Jesus would approve of this kind of lifestyle. Do you? And then we have some preachers who say, God needs you, or you're a mini God.
Again, because they don't get it.
I now come into a priestly anointing.
Jesus is not the only begotten Son of God. He is not. I'm a son of God.
He's the first fruit.
He's the first fruit. He's the firstborn of many.
I don't know where they went to theology school, but it says right in the Word. I remember it by heart, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever shall believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And no, God doesn't need any one of us, because God is, he was and is forevermore, whether we are here or not. We need God. We'll never be many gods. We're not to have any idols before us. We're to seek him. And that's what I'm not seeing in these mega churches, like where even I used to attend. Bringing in secular music, it is just a show. It's a theater, just like a lot of what I'm seeing everywhere else. Everything seems like it's a theater. Oh, if it is hard for the righteous to be saved, what will become of the ungodly and the sinner? It's hard for Christians to even see the truth in any of this. They go blindly. And then I see a pastor who's also leading others blindly about even other issues such as this.
My kids ask, Daddy, can we get a tattoo? I'm going to tell them, I don't think so right now. When they're grown-ups, if they want to get a tattoo, I'd simply say, let's make sure it's something you want forever, in a place you want forever, in a size you want forever. I'm not going to recommend they get it, but again, it's like a haircut, a style. It's the outside. What's on the inside matters most. That's my take on tattoos.
So when a pastor, he does mention in there Leviticus where it does speak about tattooing, but he calls it just like a haircut. So when a pastor is teaching this and doesn't understand that it was a ritual that they did back in those days, and it was more to it than that, and we should not be tattooing. It hurts when that's coming from a pastor's mouth, who should know better. And like in my last video on Levi Lusko, who never had tattoos before when he first was a pastor, and then his arms are full now. Something's wrong. What has happened is what I'm wondering. What's going on in our countries, but also in our churches, you know? I mean, we have fires, hurricanes, floodings, protests, impeachments. If that's not enough, then you have the tarot readings in the church, yoga in the church. I mean, it's more witchcraft and Satanism that's on the rise than anything else. And then you're seeing in the church, they're wearing Jimi Hendrix t-shirts. They're wearing people's shirts in church services. If they're doing it on their own time, that's one thing. These are in church services. Tattooing all over. And then it's like, who knows who? That's what's important to them. If you don't even see the symbolism and everything else, just see that something is wrong in our churches when they're selling t-shirts and socks and everything else. What's wrong? What has happened to church? It's a party, as I said. It's a social gathering in the dark. This is our church. This is churches of many churches all around the world. You have to wonder what has happened. And don't just say this is in America. This is in the country I'm in too. You're seeing the Enneagram, the yoga being allowed to be practiced in the church and be taught in the church. It's a circus. And they're not teaching the truth about homosexuality. Yes, we're to love everyone when they come in the door, but you need to also teach them the truth. They shall wander from sea to sea and from north to east, and they shall run to and fro seeking the word of the Lord, but shall not find it. Knowledge has increased right now, so use it for your advantage. If you're attending one of these churches, at least listen. Listen to someone who's trying to tell you what's going on. Because I used to attend these churches too. All you want is your ears to be tickled, you to have fun. It's not just about having fun, people. They're full of extortion and excess. That's not the way pastors are supposed to live. It's about giving, loving, and telling the truth. I think yoga has infiltrated the church more than anything, and I think that's what's wrong. But there's so much more. I mean, so much greed. I apologize for jumping on the 11.3. I just thought that if it was something that was coming, we need to warn. I don't know, if you knew something was coming next week, wouldn't you try to tell others? Because if you don't, then you're also looked down as you did wrong. So just trying to stay vigilant here, people, and keep your eyes open, and part 2 is coming up soon.